is a lap zipper because it covers, the lap covers the plastic teeth of the zipper. And it's a more professional zipper than a lot of times home seamstresses or your patterns will say, sew down two sides. Okay. And it's actually harder because you have 2 rows of stitching to be straight, right? And then if you don't get the fabric pushed together in the center, a nightmare. It takes longer to do a centered zipper than it does a lap zipper. So you don't want to follow the directions on that pattern. Don't want to do that. You want to do it this way because this is much faster. So it's going to look like this. We're going to do it in 2 parts. We're going to do it as step 1, which is right here, and the completed one, step 2. The lap zipper is pretty much the same as a jean or a fly zipper. The only difference is that we have some wider top stitching and it has a fly guard. Okay? So, boo. There we go. Okay, so the first step is we're going to take our zipper. This is a standard 7-inch zipper. Okay? Has a zipper head and the zipper stop. We want to know how much. Now in beginning sewing you put an invisible zipper in. So you'd put the zipper in first and then you'd sew up the rest of the seam. In a lap zipper we sew up the bottom of the seam first. So if you're putting it in a skirt, you'd sew up the side seam to where the zipper is going to end, or the same with a dress. Okay? So we need to measure to see where to stop that sewing when we sew up from the bottom. This has 5/8 of an inch. If it's a really old zipper, it has maybe a 1/2 inch. So it's meant to, this edge is meant to go at the edge of your cut fabric and right to the top of where that zipper is. That's 5/8 of an inch. Okay? And that's what you want to have enough space so you have a seam there. If you intend to add a hook and eye, then you need to push this zipper down 1/4 of an inch so you have enough room to put a hook and eye at the top. Okay? But for us right now, we're just going to do it down 1/4 of an inch. Okay? From the top of the tape. Not 1/4, 5/8, sorry. Not 1/4, 5/8. Okay? Then right here is where the zipper stop is. That's where we're going to put our little mark, and that's where we're going to end and back stitch, right there. Okay, so that's where I have ended and back stitched, is right there. I should have done it in black so you could see it. Okay, this is where you could do back stitch a little bit more. Okay, you can figure this out. Okay, all right, now then the next thing, and the most important thing that we do on a lap zipper, is the iron. Okay, so here's my seam, 5/8 of an inch. Nothing less. If you go a 1/2 inch, it's not going to work. It's not going to fit your pattern, and it's not going to be big enough to top stitch. You can go an inch. You can go 1.5 inches. You can go 2 inches. Why?
Because you can cut it or tuck it, or
because you might need that excess to let the dress out or the skirt out. If you were in alterations, you'd love that. Because if you had a dress that was too tight in the bodice, you'd say, oh, I'll just let it out in the zipper. But most of you would say, no, that's too scary. But when you get through putting a zipper in this way, it won't be scary. Really, it's really simple. Okay, so we're going to press this up 5/8 of an inch, both seams. Because that's the seam allowance that we have in our pattern, and that's what we need for a zipper. If I wanted 1 inch, then I'd sew it up 1 inch. Okay? So we're sewing that up 5/8 of an inch. Okay, now we're going to disregard this one. I think I better, no, that'll be okay. We're going to disregard this one, and then we're going to take this seam and we're going to make this smaller than 5/8 of an inch by pressing it. So in order to do that, I'm going to flip it over. I have got some lint in my nose. I feel like I'm gonna. Okay, so I'm gonna pull that back, and then I'm gonna make a little tiny pleat in my zipper, in my seam allowance. Or I'm gonna make this one now a little bit smaller than 5/8. But actually it looks like I'm making it bigger because I'm pressing it out. But can you all see that little tuck? Here's my seam allowance. And there's my tuck. It's about a 1/16 of an inch. Okay? Now remember this tuck because it's the key to that zipper. It won't work if you don't have that in there. Okay? So there's the start of that tuck. And then I'm just going to, and I can, see there's my original 5/8 inch press. So I can kind of follow that to make sure that I am making this a different seam allowance. Okay, whoops, I got off right here. But then I've got a hole in the fabric from tearing it out. Okay, can you all see that? Okay, so 5/8 of an inch. Now you can see this one's a little bit smaller than 5/8, just by a 1/16 of an inch. You think, why is she being so wacko about that small little tuck? Because this is the most important thing. Right. How many have problems with zippers? Okay, try it this way. You won't.
Good.
Okay, here's your zipper stop. You're going to put that right there where you've backstitched. Why is it important to backstitch well? Right. Don't perforate your fabric, but you want to make sure you backstitch because you don't want this to come undone. Okay, so this is the 5/8 inch seam again. We're going to flop that over there and leave it there, okay, for step 1. Now we've got our zipper in and it's lined up, okay. See that little ridge right there? That's built so that you can push your fabric right to that ridge and it won't get into your teeth. That stops you from pushing it too far over. That is the nice thing about these plastic Talon zippers, is that it stops it right there. Okay? Everybody with me?